Yeah, if this could be gotten, it could be freeze dried, packaged, and then sold as something. You can hear the words nothing on offer as a thing called nothing, like a kind of a severity, or it's the absence of anything at all. And all it is then is just simply talking then.
And everything is meaningless.
Yeah, and that's not a meaning to be derived
No.
either, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So it was wonderful, or you could say then everything is meaningful, including the dog shit though. So in a world full of information, uh, content and data and useful things to help you with your life, improve your life, etc., etc. Welcome to a meeting with the total absence of anything useful, um, or anything that can help you live a better life, or you improve your life, or anything like that. What this gathering appears to illuminate is the absence, really, of an individual self who can have life, improve their life, and get to a place that is a better life. In fact, really, this illumination or this meeting, this gathering is about the suggestion that there isn't you and life, that there's just life or what is or what's appearing to happen. And you can call it life, call it a world, call it whatever, but it isn't a thing apart that's grounded in time. In fact, this is nowhere. And yet we've all agreed, obviously, that we have names and this is a place, this is life, and we're in our countries, in a place, in time, and that can seem really, really solid. And the story of life about you and where you have been and where you're going and the realness of that can have a rigidity to it, but also there can be it seems like uh, a sort of a looseness or the belief in that uh, certainty or the solidity of you and life can sometimes appear on shaky ground, and um, sometimes, a sort of a seeking in life can happen where we try to figure out what this apparent life is, who we are, and how we can, I suppose, make this a more pleasing place. And and the answer to making this a more pleasing place can seem to be in loads of different places, in money and in relationships and in lots of different things. Also, then it seems like something like spirituality offers an answer as to how you can make your life better. And that can take a gazillion forms, but some of the forms and a lot of the words used in spirituality um, seem to offer a slightly different version to the normal version. And they're also they've got lots of lovely words like enlightenment and liberation and words that are not normally used, like chakras exploding and um, just a sort of an alternative and something that might be worth going towards. So at some stage it might be the car or the house or the relationship, and then it can be the beautiful to open up the chakras, and then um, something like, enlightenment. I remember years ago hearing about enlightenment, and I really liked the sound of that in every way, shape, and form. It sounded like something lovely to have. And then in this story, it would appear that there is a communication which is, let's call it non-duality just for this moment, appears in our lives. And for the rare, unfortunate few, that's what I seem to say, because it does seem like that. The rare, unfortunate few, this communication seems to grab hold unlike any other. And perhaps all the others have lost all their taste and and that idea of being spoken to and told what to do. It all just seems filled with the same um, kind of prescriptiveness, and there can be a total sickness with all that. And so, for this rare, unfortunate few, stumbling upon a communication that's non-duality happens, and this communication is quite simple in its language, really. If it's a sort of uncompromising communication, the only suggestion that is really being made, which is the one that I said really at the start, which is something like there isn't you and life. There's just life or what's appearing to happen. And that, for whatever reason, it seems like it can't be let go of. Now, there's obviously lots of words like liberation that get linked with it. And again, it is a sort of a seeking, but the language is just so simple that it seems attractive and also can be sort of nauseating or sort of kind of just so frustrating and horrible. It's like all these words like nothing and everything and um it's like nothing that the brain can really hold on to. And then apart from the couple of sentences, it just seems like uh it in its simplest form, the best way I could say it is that it can't be let go of. Because if it could, it surely would. And if it was about understanding, most probably here have got the general idea of what's been suggested. But it seems like that, for some, this communication can be heard and it can be right, okay, and end of the story. For others, it's just ran from as the worst communication on the planet. And then for some, it's just sort of lingers. And the thing really maybe that I'd most like to say is that this, by saying this has nothing got to do with understanding, that doesn't make it somehow more complicated then. It's because there's nothing really at all to be understood. All that's been said is there's just inescapably what's appearing to happen, and that can't be known. So so it's not about understanding or working it out or getting it or having it as a memory. Um, and it isn't a thing to be had. And the reasoning, let's just say the reasoning for that is that there isn't anything that can hold on to anything at all. So every single apparent happening um, cannot be held on to. And just like this, immediately, inescapably hearing a voice, it's like constantly falling apart, and not one tiny inch of this can be held by anything at all. So it's dissolving and falling apart and all that's left is inescapably just fully this. And so with that little intro in mind, let's see let's see if there's questions that are there to be asked. This isn't a polite gathering, even though whatever. So just, put a comment in the comment thingy or just click unmute and ask whatever is there to be asked. And let's see what happens.
Hi, Frank.
Hiya.
How you doing? It's the 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 idea of nothing. When I think of it, I just think of empty space. Is that
Sorry,
what
I'm having a slight malfunction. Sorry, say that again to me one more time.
is nothing like empty space?
No, so nothing is totally and utterly nothing. So what happens with the word nothing is that we try to imagine it, of course, as a thing. So like it's grey and murky or vague, or it's a thing like empty space.
Yeah,
So it's boundaryless nothingness, and you could say that's why the expression nothing is everything.
yeah,
So it's not a thing. So that's impossible then it seems for the mind, nothing.
yeah. Okay.
So it's like uh, there would be a boundary almost if there was a thing that was nothing.
Yeah,
So this is like nothing happening, but that's so what's easier maybe is that there's just simply the sound of a voice talking and there's hearing. So this is nothing full to the brim with the sound of a voice.
okay. But there's nothing behind it.
But even the idea of behind is sort of then given it a location. It's
Yeah.
like that question was asked and there's this response. So that question just appeared to happen, vump, and this response, vump.
Mhm.
And so then the idea of a behind almost it's like, oh, then we can understand it as there is somewhere behind and there is a place called nothing. So there's nowhere to hang the hat on, no safe ground for it to all kind of suddenly be known and safe. It's sort of uneasy, but it's not that's not a problem either. Uneasy is the wrong word. It's just there's nowhere to hang the hat on in any way, shape, or form. No way to get closer or further away from just immediately this.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
So, hello, Frank.
Hi, Matt.
Very rarely I ask questions on meetings nowadays. However, and this
Oh,
is a useless
oh,
question, but
great.
because they were triggered, this talk about nothing being everything, and you say this. So, I mean, the word this, normally, when people use the word this, it is in contrast with something that is not this.
Yeah.
This, like here, is something different from there. Otherwise, here will be everything. But this that you're saying is not separate from anything else. So in a way, it is both. Well, now this is similar to a question. Then, would you say then that it is both nothing and everything, and yet also the appearance somehow, because this is you often connected with, this, but it's not this what you see or something like. Yeah, no, it's a kind of a tricky use of a word. I would like to say.
Well, so this is just a word, and There isn't a thing called this, and this then can't be known as nothing and everything. So I suppose this appears to be used without being technical. There, and nothing and everything from time to time seems to be used. Um, it's really every single word that comes out and every every kind of hesitation and including the word this is is impossibly and inescapably this, but it's not like it's so it's as talking as that question. It's and it appears then that there's a sort of a trying to kind of name this or get say what this is, and but that's also this spontaneous happening. It's not like then this is, there's a fixed point that can cause this happening. It's all sort of just happening causelessly. And in that, there seems to be, if a description was to be given, it would be that there's a gathering about this thingy majiggy thingy. No, this, not this. It doesn't matter because it could be that we'd all start singing together. That could be how it could be, or sitting in silence, or apparently talking and asking questions. Is this spontaneous happening?
Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed that.
Oh.
It's like this itself is just not well, it's not
Exactly. I
possible.
mean, really, it is like that. It is sort of like that's how it then. It doesn't fucking matter. So it's not about words or correctness or a way that it should be spoken about. How dull would that be? So it's inescapably whatever is. So there can be sitting quietly. It can be hands going. It can be this is the biggest load of fucking shit. Who knows? So it's as Matt's as Frank. Life as Matt's. Matzing. That's what they Matz.
Yeah, I don't speak like that so often with others, but
Yeah, good man. Nor do I. Fucking hell.
yes,
Yeah, let's
exactly.
let's lock let's lock everybody up. We'd all be locked up, that's for sure. Especially nowadays.
And I told some people the other day, because that they are into Zen Buddhism, and we got into this kind of talking, and I said something to them about prejudices.
Mm.
That it's not that you see a frightening dog, for example, if you fear dogs, you see a dog, but then it's not that the dog is frightening. I was saying things like that, and then I said also, and even to call it a dog, it's a prejudice, and then I lost them completely. Then I realized, take it easy now, just stay with the first one.
Yeah, we need to ask the dog how it wants to identify. Ooh. Anyway, yeah.
Recalibrate your language with people who are not, not into this kind of meetings, but at a supermarket or post office or whatever.
You
Or this is
say
just come automatically for you.
say that again?
I mean, what we were just speaking about. I couldn't say to someone, to call this is a dog is a prejudice. People don't speak like that. So I learned quickly that just take it easy with that. But have you also recalibrated your way of speaking with people who don't talk about interested in non-duality?
It just doesn't come up. It just doesn't come up. That's all I can
Doesn't,
say.
yeah,
And
so
if
it just
there's, and
naturally.
even rarely anyone that I know will ask, even though it's, uh, this is YouTube, whatever, and there's a website and a book. Most every person that I know, they never ever ask anything at all.
Mm. So it doesn't come up with you. It
It
just
does,
doesn't
yeah, but
happen.
then sometimes it can come up out of nowhere and not unexpectedly, and somebody might just start asking questions, and that's kind of always it was lovely for whatever reason. I kind of enjoy that when that happens, but it's rare, really. From people I know, I get phone calls from time to time, um,
Mm.
but otherwise, it just doesn't come up at all.
Yeah, I
It
see.
doesn't come out. Of my mouth, really, unless there's a question. You see, really, it's almost an aberration to volunteer anything. It's like, well, there would be something then to be said, but who knows? It could come out then. I don't really know. I just noticed that it really never comes up in conversation at all.
Hi, Frank.
Oh, yeah.
Hi. Yeah, I don't have a real question, but there's a kind of a sense that I want to say something, but I don't know what. Yeah.
So the way you speak about this, just what's appearing to happen, for example, we all recognize that expression, but
Mm.
the same, but there just this, and there is just immediacy. So that what appears to be happening, there is nothing, no movement. And so it's also not happening
Mm.
because otherwise it would be some substance to. I'm trying to say something now that I cannot say.
Yeah. It's it's certainly not a way to live a life by. Um, it's not a useful sentence. It's a sentence that appears to be used or said like that. There's just what's appearing to happen. But I suppose that's another way of saying that there's nothing is denied or it's not everything is allowed. But it's not like anything is allowing that. It's just all there is everything. Or all there is just what's inescapably appearing to happen, however that is. But it's not useful or, it's just a description that appears, maybe. It's probably the essence, it's probably the lock, stock, and two smoking barrels of any book or anything that can be said, really, is all there is what's appearing to happen.
Frank, do you still watch Tony Parsons and that, or not too fussed?
Not really, no. Maybe if there's a meeting, I might have a look. Sometimes listen on YouTube, but just can't remember the last time I did.
Fair dues. I don't know where I was going with that question. It's just been nosy.
Yeah, just no real curiosity, really. Yeah, no real. And I used to listen to for years and years and years anything, but I'd still listen to. Uh, yeah, rarely. But if it was a new one come out, I might listen to a little bit. Might not.
I guess there's a difference between that kind of constant drive to like figure it out and just like checking things. It's nice kind of thing. Not that it matters, but
Yeah, it's just how it is. Yeah. Suppose, yeah. I mean, it's just how it appears to be, really. Yeah, there's no seeking, obviously, to understand or get or what am I missing in that whole thing? What am I not getting that they appear to be getting? That sort of thing.
I do. I just love Tony's face is just crack me up because you don't see it so often in day-to-day life. Someone just having a reaction and then it's gone. I do. I like that part quite a bit.
The what's that? That he
He just drops his face when like he'll be laughing and then the face drops. It doesn't happen so much in normal life, and I'm not saying it's anything special. I just like that in his videos and his reactions. It just makes me laugh.
oh yeah, yeah. I think there's something about this idea of, listening to meetings or it's kind of very interesting. Yeah, I think it's just a wonderful expose of how it just can't be let go of because there's a sort of a newness, but it's just, there's a freshness that can't be really gotten hold of or it just would be let go of. I think it's just a wonderful expose that there's absolutely zero control of anything of any description. And it's like that then with everything. That's how it is with everything. It appears like there's control, but really there's no control of anything. Even the want to try and control can't be controlled.
So, Frank, the suggestion then, it's like the individual is suggested in this is a construct. Would that be a? I know we just use these words or whatever, but when you say nothing and the word construct, it's it's. I know it's impossible to get your head around, but of course, you keep trying to get your head around it. But the word construct seems to be. Is that what you would use? Would you use that word construct or what is it?
I don't. I would say there's character traits, and that there's. But there is like there isn't an individual operating. There's
No.
bodies, but there's like this. There's there might be a construct of characteristics
Yeah.
held together by nothing. There isn't
Mm,
a solid thing. It's like a house of cards held together by nothing. So then nothing changes, and all the character traits remain. It's just um, then there's nothing happens at all. All the thinking, the feelings, everything just spontaneously arise, and there's just nothing in there that can operate that thinking, including the but, but there, hold on now, there is that sort of movement.
yeah.
Hold on, there is someone now that needs to fall away. There is or the individual needs to fall apart.
Mm,
Again, it's a lovely idea of a happening, and that would be great if there was an individual.
mm,
So, it's to just like really, it's like let's take a waterfall and all the water falling. There isn't a thing in there doing the water falling. So there isn't
mm,
a character in there doing the construction. There's the character happening, let's say, there's the water falling.
mm.
So then it's like what can be described as a ferocious waterfall, soft, gentle waterfall. But whatever then. But it's uh, because there isn't I think we grow up with this idea of being someone. Like, oh, everybody seems to be somebody
Mm,
from, and like, it's like, it is like characters in a play. It's like, this idea of the Zen, somebody was talking about the Zen earlier, the Zen Buddhists and having a conversation. It's like, isn't it so kind of obviously playing a role of a
mm,
character with beliefs and
mm,
ideas, and it's oh, I'm on the Zen Buddhist team, and
mm,
I'm on the Catholic team, or I'm on the non-duality team, let's just say. And all of those are sort of little ways of making this all be somewhat noble or have a foundation or grounded in some sort of reality. And so there's just imagine that there isn't an individual there that asked that about the construct.
mm.
It is actually unimaginable that the whole thing is just happening, but that's how it is. And it's not then that that's gotten or had here
Yeah.
then that, but it's because nothing happens, then nothing can change.
Mm,
So, but then everything is constantly apparently changing.
yeah.
So construct is just as good a word. You could say it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And everything is meaningless.
Yeah, and that's not a meaning to be derived
No.
either, Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So it's wonderful, or you could say then everything is meaningful, including the dog shit though. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's everything is meaningful. Is that what you said? Like within the here.
It would be the same sentence in a way that everything has some sort of wonderful meaning, including the dog shit. If you were to, it might be the case that meaning could be taken from everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it isn't then to be known as meaningless. Sometimes those words can be taken on as, oh, it's also nihilistic and meaningless and whatever, but then there can be meaning in just a fucking leaf. But in
Yeah.
that way, not like it's like this holy, but then some people might describe looking at a leaf as outrageously holy. I don't know.
Mm. Well, there's a great, I suppose, relief in the suggestion of meaningless.
Yeah, nothing is important, but then, or arguably, everything is wonderfully important. Everything is phenomenal. Uh, yeah, there is the relief is that really nothing can be held on to, and nothing needs to be done or taken on. Yeah, it's
Yeah. I
like
mean,
if there was an individual, this really would be
yeah.
fucking impossible. What a heavy
Yeah.
load to carry, this breathing
Yeah.
and holding the whole universe
Yeah.
together and then falling away. Oh, like how would it do all those? It's like it's
Yeah.
always like, what do I do about that? It's just so. Uh, but somehow in all of it, it's like always top level stories, top level. It's like the headlines of
Yeah.
news articles. Like, well, okay, I don't really care about not being able to do the breathing or growing a hair on the arm, but I am doing the decisions and I am doing this seeking. Well, it's it's just fucking seeking appearing to happen. Also,
Yeah. I mean, it is amazing, isn't it? Just, it is pretty obvious that, you know, nothing's being done in a way.
hmm.
And yet there's this constant demand, the opposite direction. I mean, nothing's been done, as you say, the hair on the arms or the whatever happens next or I heard you before saying something about the fingernails, like, and all of this
Yeah.
does suggest something, but there's just this constant still expectation of doing something, even though in some way there's an absolute recognition that nothing is being done, but yet there's this thing working in the opposite. I don't know. You know what I
Well, I mean, since the get-go, it's like from the very, very first moment, it's like do this and you get that.
mean?
Eat your dinner and you'll get the angel's delight.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
you know,
They still say that
or
stuff.
be a good boy and girl and do your
Yeah,
penance and do your homework and do this and you get and so it's like a constant training. It's,
yeah,
you know. Uh, and
yeah.
so it's a conditioning, let's just say, really. And it's like, what do I need to do
Mm.
Mm,
to get this? And the answer is that it's worse than nothing. It's just that you're not there to get
mm,
this already. And
mm,
that's the identity neutralness that's already the case. And
mm,
actually it's almost like because of the conditioning, it's almost assumed then that there is authority that knows. That's the
mm,
conditioning. And then this, there's no doubt about this character trait here absolutely despises that or really has a difficulty with anything that suggests anything close like that. It's like any kind of authority linked or any kind of fluffy language not used. Yeah, it's not a doing that just seems to be how it is. It's like the book totally white on the cover, but it's not like that. That is, it just seems to be that's how it is then. It hates that idea because it seems to reinforce, but then arguably the little bit of fluff. It's hard. It's so we're talking about this communication now that it's
mm,
so neutrally like water. It's like constantly being washed, but not a hair not getting wet. And and so then yeah, anyway, it's like it's just how it appears to be, really.
mm, mm,
And yeah,
mm.
it's just like everything really, it's just how it appears to be. It's a totally agendaless um happening then. It's
Mm,
surprising really that the meetings go ahead all the time,
mm,
Mm.
because it's a sort of there's always it's it's like there is a sort of a suggestion, but there isn't. It's like everything. It's like they might appear like they're seeking, but it's not really. It's just
mm,
it's like seeking can ground this in a noble thing. Then that okay, I'm seeking and I'm safe, and that's what I'm doing. I'm seeking, but
yeah,
it's not. It's nothing. It's energetically just happening. So, so then the relief, let's say, here is that it's nothing at all needs to be remembered or known or put across. It's like just question in the same way, answer, and it's like there's nothing in this meeting that ever really can be held at
mm,
all
mm,
onto nothing.
yeah.
Um, and that's yeah.
Mm. And say before this communication, would you have remembered, like, were you a seeker? Were you in that usual?
Yeah, no, I would have been into like I was into Osho. I got the big book of secrets, which it's a huge book of secrets with around 1,000 meditations in it. I don't think I've thrown it out because the idea of throwing out something so big, I don't like the idea of. But I did a fair few of the meditations, and it said Osho said at the start, "Well, if none of these work for you." You're pretty shit. He didn't say quite like that, but so I would have done a lot of that and a bit of the
Yeah,
Course in Miracles and all. I did the best job I could, let's just say, at
yeah,
having a go with that sort of thing.
yeah,
transcendental meditation, which is lovely, lovely, all that sort of. But it's it always sort of felt like another kind of doing or
yeah,
another. I wouldn't have had the words. There was something always off a little bit, and I
mm,
remember going to talk to people. Then when I came across, then the power of now and all that sort of
oh yeah,
junk. I
yeah,
mean, I snorted up all that stuff.
yeah,
I mean, Amazon used to deliver every sort of book
uh,
in, and the excitement. Actually, the most exciting part was the idea of the new book coming
yeah,
in.
yeah,
There was a little bit of a build up, like a little bit of opium. That's what this idea, and then you read it and you go, okay, fuck's sake. So, and then this communication, I was like Leo Hartong, Awakening to the Dream. I read
yeah,
just a little part of his book, and I got in touch with him. But actually, at the same time, I was reading his book. Tony happened to be in town, and Leo had
yeah,
mentioned Tony, and it was at the same time, so I went to see Tony.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I absolutely thought it was the worst thing I'd ever heard, and at the same time, I thought this is sounds like love to me now. So,
Mm, mm, mm,
so it was a shit seeker
mm.
that didn't find anything. I would have loved all that sort of. Like I did all the psychedelics and all that sort of thing. It was the idea of this peak experience course that sounds absolutely wonderful,
Mm,
to see loads of lights and, you know,
yeah,
to be wise. Fucking I would love to be wise, but at the same time hate the responsibility of all that too.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, a heavy load to carry and to be wise.
yeah, yeah,
And I think I really at the very core, because this is just so wonderfully simple. It's what I was trying to say was like that we grew up with this idea that everywhere we go, somebody knows, and it's like, and
mm,
every word that comes out of a mouth suggests a knowing, and whereas this is the absence of that, but it's impossible because if there's something seeking, let's just pretend that if there's something seeking, then it can't but see somebody that knows, because that's all it's ever seen is
yeah,
somebody that knows, and that's been constantly reinforced all the time.
mm,
And yet, this communication is just there's absolutely you can hear the words nothing on offer as a thing called nothing, like a kind of a severity or it's the absence of anything at all. And all it is then is just simply talking then.
mm,
Simply
mm,
talking with no agenda or purpose. Um,
mm, yeah, mm, mm. Yeah, but it's like we heard Tony a good long time ago, but still there's this sort of, the spiritually stuff is still there, and somehow there's a comfort in that.
oh
And
yeah, it's
this,
lovely,
but
yeah.
then it's sort of lovely, but it's meaningless, and there's a
Mm,
sort of it's a strange contradiction because definitely, well, what's suggested here is it does annihilate all that, and there's something recognizes that. But then find myself going along saying, "Oh, this is lovely," and
yeah,
I know it's totally, you could call it nonsense, you could call it meaningless, and that's continuing on, and then, but it's just bizarre in a way because I probably would have been um, in the past, it would have had to be one or the other, but now it's all mixed up, if you know what I mean, and it
yeah.
doesn't really matter, but but definitely there's a comfort,
Mm, yeah. There
but
isn't much comfort in this.
well, Funny
But
enough, there is in the suggestion that of meaninglessness
mm,
of, there is a strange sense of freedom in that.
yeah,
I mean, I think certainly, you know, meaningless. Oh, there's a huge suggestion of freedom in that,
mm,
because we do seem to be living in a world of, it's an imprisonment. Everything has to have a meaning, and
mm.
it has to make sense, and it has to have this, and it has to have. But then the suggestion of meaningless appears to have some sort of a undescribable suggestion of freedom.
Well, there isn't even a thing that is called meaningless. So there is not one word has any solidity of any description whatsoever.
Right?
So it's a freedom then beyond any image or idea of what freedom could be, might be, or should be.
Mm.
And it's all there is just what's happening, going and listening to whatever it is, and or reading whatever book or finding comfort in whatever. That's how it is then.
That's how it is.
There's absolutely nothing wrong or right about anything. All there is just inescapably, impossibly, and outrageously just what's appearing to happen.
Mm.
So you can't do this right or wrong. It's not like there's, a good way to do this or not
Yeah.
do it. It's just simply you're not doing any of it.
Yeah. And even the suggestion of that, and that may be just words, the end is a suggestion of immense freedom in that.
Hmm.
And I know this is,
It's freedom for no one, and there
it's,
already is no one
yeah,
asking that and saying that. That's the enormity. It's like talking about this cup here in the
yeah,
hand, talking
yeah,
about itself. And we can talk about it and wonder is it going to fall away?
yeah.
And then when it's actually gone, well, okay, it was actually
It's never
what
there.
are you actually talking about? Because it was never there in the first place. So who then could talk about this then?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then apparently talking
yeah.
may or may not happen. Probably not. Who knows? Like, or probably, shouting from the rooftops. But once it's a thing that can be known, it's heavy and
Mm.
needs to be remembered. So nothing needs to be remembered or learned, or
Mm.
because in this there's nothing useful at all.
Mm. Yeah. Nice to join your meeting. I think this is only the second one of yours
Oh,
you've joined, so
oh, cool. Yeah,
nice.
nice to see you.
Thanks for that.
Thank you. Why does hearing this appear to help with stress? There's just that's what's appearing to happen. There isn't a why, but you're not being spoken to. It's like there's nothing denied or reinforced either. It's not like, oh, poor you with the stress. Well, maybe, I don't know. Depends. But it's not like, oh, well, let's try and fix that stress or whatever. Let's let's have let's hear from Lauren to hear about the stress. Sorry, Lauren, for saying your name there. Who knows? Yeah. Oh, so stressful when you say my name. Oh, Sherlock. See? Why are my meetings so stressful? That should be the next question. Just gone and ruined it. Woo!
I think I know at least three Laura coming to this kind of meetings, and we won't know which one it is without the picture or voice. So it's slightly safe. I mean, he or she is slightly safe.
Yes, exactly.
If I get something here, where would I put it?
Oh. Yeah, if this could be gotten, it could be freeze-dried, packaged, and then sold as something. And probably, but the ever freshness of just what is this waterfall that we were talking about earlier. It can't be held or had. That's why it can't be spoken about, but it appears as saying it can't be spoken about.
Now I had a fun association when you said the freeze dried. So if you go to a store and you see packages where they are selling freeze dried water, how how would you use that?
Well, it's like almost like when you get banana chips freeze dried and into a packet. It's like it's like if this could be had, it's like that almost. There's a sort of a staleness to the idea of having this, that it could be known, and that also would be gruesome. That would be entering the gates of hell. It would be back in knowledge and another thing for the rich man to have almost. So thankfully it cannot be had because already there's nothing in there that can hold on to even a tiny inch of anything. What of this could be held on to? What moment can be held on to? What anything? Memories might arise, but it's still nothing is held on to at all. It's like trying to grab on to dear life, like trying to hold um, on to nothing, holding on to nothing.
I really enjoy this joking kind of style of talking about it. And now I came to think about, now I'm waiting for this now, but it's never coming. When does the now?
Yeah, when is now? It's like there's a thing called now that can be known. It's like, oh, we've got now then that we can know. And we can sit in the now and breathe in the now and all that. It's just that really, uh, where is who and where and who and how could sit in this thing called now? There isn't a now. It's like in the waterfall, is there a place that can be held? So it is uh, constantly falling apart and then just simply whatever is appearing. Such a funny thing, this idea of trying to get in the now. It's like, how do you get in the now? Did I miss it there? Fuck, I missed it. Oh, now I know I have it. Oh, it's, it's impossible.
I don't know in English, but in Swedish there is a word meaning just a moment ago,
Mm.
and it sounds like now. So in Swedish we say nu, that is now, and then we say nyss, that means just a moment ago.
Mm.
So there's a joke in a big band I was playing, when the tempo is high and it's difficult to play along, you got lost. That's difficult to play, and then they express this, like nis 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 nis,
Oh,
just
yeah,
the
yeah.
moment after the now all the
But
time.
it's like almost always gone, like even an apparent description arising. It's like it's so, it's like trying to catching, or hold on to holding, or breathe into the breathing. It's like, and it's always like, oh, I'm now, I'm not breathing. There's just breathing, and it's like, oh, what are you talking about? It's always trying to make this somewhat safe and noble, but like this is lost at sea in the for never after. This is the nowhereness. This is the timelessness, the absence of time.
And with the absence of time, then, Frank, yeah, so memory is just sort of appearing, isn't it? Like memory seems to be something that we say, it's almost, we use it as a proof of time because I can remember yesterday and I can remember
Mm.
whatever. But it's almost used as so memory is just, or I was looking at a piece of paper there recently of something that I came across
Mm.
that I had written down in about 30 years ago.
Mm.
There's this faded page, and there's a memory that goes with this faded page, and so that's just an appearance.
It's just an appearance, and just seems reductive, but it's an appearance, or it's a memory appearing to happen.
Mm,
So how do you do that?
yeah.
How do you do the memory appearing to happen, or
Mm,
do the next thought, the
uh-huh.
next sensation,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the next anything at all?
yeah,
It's like, holy fuck.
yeah. It's all hard work, isn't it?
Well, if you were in there trying to figure and do all of this and
Yeah,
balance all of
yeah.
this and doing the this getting stressed at the same time. Um, it would all be very heavy to juggle all of that at once.
Yeah. Mm, mm. And of course, it's so convincing like that. Oh, there's the thing I wrote. There's the photograph I took 20 years ago. It's just relentless, isn't it? It's all the time. There's the plant I watered an hour ago. There's the wallpaper I remember. Well, I didn't put it up, so I can't claim that one. But anyway,
Hmm.
it's really, there's the television I got, what I bought or whatever it is. It's just constant, constant, constant
Yeah, it's a constant story thing happening. Yeah.
story. Yeah,
But so what? Like that's how it's like looking at photos and looking at photos of kids and
yeah, yeah.
all that,
Mm.
and then some imaginations about that, or
Some imaginations. Yeah, yeah.
could it have been this way or that way or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? It's like
Mm. Mm.
all just thoughts really, just rah
Mm.
rah 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 rah
Yeah,
rah rah
yeah,
rah 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 rah.
yeah.
It's like much to do about. nothing.
Sure, sure.
So what though? It's wonderful also. It's like gazillions, gazillions, gazillions of stories. But
Yeah.
you'll notice is like it's like headlines, it's,
Mm,
of memories appear. It's not like all of the
Mm.
the detail is
mm,
apparently remembered. It's just like a kind of a vague memory that appears, vump, and then the next time that vague memory appears, it'll more than likely be apparently different then, as
mm.
Mm.
nothing is the same. There is
Yeah,
a sort of ever freshness, even the feeling that it may feel stale and fucking dull is also this sort of ever freshness.
mm, mm, mm.
It's just
Yeah,
like it can't be held on to. Nothing can be held on to. Thankfully, wonderfully. But also the whole thing just dissolves a little bit. It's like an exhale.
mm, yeah. Mm, mm. And the pain that goes with some memories, that's again what's appearing just to happen. And
Yeah, a bit of a beautiful, like it's like terrible thing to say beautiful, but it's almost like rich and full with whatever is.
yeah,
Nothing is denied. Like
yeah.
we imagine we want this state of
Mm,
perfection, of it being perfectly okay all of the
yeah,
time.
sure.
And it's
Yeah,
like, well, there's one thing for certain. If there was a movie on in the cinema
yeah,
and there was a character that started at the start of the movie and he was
yeah. Leave
perfectly
it to it.
in
Yeah,
bliss all of the way, didn't fall out of love or,
yeah,
lose a partner or fucking whatever, didn't get into conflict, wasn't distress or terror or horror, whatever. It was nobody got to see the fucking movie. So
no,
boring.
no, no, no.
And yet there's this imagination of perfection that is a place to get to. And it's sort of can be reinforced by
Mm,
uh, characters who there's an impression given and reinforced of peace
mm,
and bliss and this peace that passeth all understanding. It's absolutely but the peace that passeth all understanding also includes being totally fucked off. Well,
yeah,
of course,
yeah,
it should have to be because there isn't anyone that can have this peace that passeth all understanding.
mm, mm, yeah. Mm, mm. So it's just, yeah, and that I suppose, you know, sounds like a paradox, but yeah, well, so the peace, pain, discomfort, but that, yeah. So yeah, okay,
It's
yeah,
everything.
it's everything.
It's
Yeah,
everything, yeah.
yeah. Mm.
The lock, stock, and two smoking barrels.
Yeah.
We're talking about boundlessness, so it would be awfully dull if it was a
Oh, yeah.
certain
You're
way
right
of
about that
being, a
movie.
certain
Yeah,
way of being. You find it's always holy in this imagination of what
yeah,
it should be. It's always in a state of calm,
yeah,
of and with the inverted commas word being state, but it's a state of
yeah,
peace and calm and all that.
yeah, yeah. Which is a total daydream.
Total daydream, yeah. Total,
Um,
almost like a childlike imagination thing of it. Yeah. It's raw, vulnerable, alive, electrically alive as whatever is. So who
yeah.
knows then?
And that's that sort of suggests a freedom, but it does suggest something terrifying at the same time. So it's the
Like,
same everything.
it would be awful for
Whole
the
package, yeah,
individual who
yeah,
had to deal with boundlessness,
yeah.
not the image of boundlessness, but then, of course, because there is already no individual,
Mm,
it's all okay.
maybe.
But it's anchorless, like, so it is lost at sea, and
Yeah,
this the for never after. There's no place to hang your hat, no
yeah.
anything that makes this safe or noble or understandable,
Mm,
no. So any word at all that's used is totally, there's no authority. Like, how'd there be
mm,
an authority then?
yeah.
So this is total and utter aloneness, yet
Mm,
full to the brim with whatever is.
mm, yeah. And it doesn't seem like this message is going to be something that gangs of people are going to be queuing up to hear. But yet the other sort of message of, every time I only work around the corner from here and it only takes me 10 minutes in the car. And I turn on the radio for a few minutes and this ad keeps coming up about my life, my way, and all this type of stuff. And it's sort of funny, but you can see that sort of my life and perfect life and perfect whatever. That's going to get everybody wants to hear that.
Hmm. That's definitely gonna, yeah,
Yeah,
fill the seats. Yeah.
yeah,
Till who knows? Till it doesn't seem like it's going to get popular anytime soon. Like it's
yeah.
um yeah, it doesn't seem like that at all.
Mm,
But yeah.
yeah. Then anything can happen, I suppose. But
Anything can happen, but it seems unlikely.
it seems unlikely. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Oh,
Mm.
as soon as it gets popular, we're out.
Oh, as soon as it
We
gets
have a band,
mainstream.
we're
Yeah,
out.
yeah. It's like the bands from years ago. I'm not into them anymore. No, they're sold out. Yeah. I mean, it's funny, like really there because it's such because nothing is
Yeah,
on offer and nothing isn't a thing.
yeah.
Then it just simply can't be. But if there's a trace of even a tiny little thing, it seems like the flavor changes and it then can turn into something. And it
Mm,
seems to go like that. And then it can can
mm,
get popular.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but really it seems like it's
Mm,
sure like all of the friends and all the people, they just would never ask about this at all.
yeah,
Not even it's like my
yeah.
missus downstairs is just like, okay, just
Yeah,
okay, stop. No more. Thank you.
yeah, 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 yeah. And I suppose in a way, there's nothing to talk about. It's you know,
Yeah.
with others or whatever.
Well, there's nothing really to be volunteered, but then, of course, there isn't non-duality.
Yeah,
There isn't a subject, and there isn't. Everything is this. Everything is non-duality. This is borderless. Like everything is just everything.
yeah.
So,
Mm.
um,
It's very hard when somebody because like we have three adult children. Well, I don't even like using the word children. We have three adults, and we went 2 years ago. We went over to Germany to see Tony Parsons.
Mm.
Came back. The youngest guy said, "So, what exactly did you do there?" I thought, "Oh, I'm lost already.
Yeah,
Can't answer that."
yeah. I didn't do anything. I didn't go to Germany. Nothing happened.
No, no, but yeah, yeah,
But also, it's also very, 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 very simple and ordinary. Like everything, it's just like really, it's actually so easy. What we like to be able to do is say what something is. So then that takes the the oddness out of it.
Yeah,
And there's
yeah,
that kind of sense about this particular, let's say, subject that nothing really can be said about it. And it's like, oh, it's like, okay, I go to a meeting for but actually it's just a conversation appearing,
yeah,
about the nature of this. Like that seems to be, you could say that's the best.
yeah,
Um, it's just like
yeah.
a curiosity about this, but that really it's very difficult. So you could
Oh,
just say, "Oh, it's
yeah,
philosophical," or go to some
yeah,
philosophical conversation.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
It really, I might finish with just that it's so sort of just energetic.
Mm.
And it's just happening. Take away all the stories about coming to a meeting and seeking and all of the rah 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 unique storylines, and apparently a speaker, apparently questions, all that, all the blah 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 blah. All there is just immediately, inescapably this, and when this is not, say, the Zoom is turned off and going down and having some food, that would be just also what's happening. And it's indivisibly just that. And so nothing needs to be held on to or remembered or whatever. And that's, you could say, this relief, because nothing is being explained or informed or even communicated. And so it's just a lovely gathering. So thank you very much, everyone, for
Thanks, Frank. Yeah.